are the anchors of Queer News Tonight, and this evening we discuss the queer headlines. Dua Lipa, Cardi B, Bob the Drag Queen, and more take over the Abbey in West Hollywood as part of a special concert to encourage people to get on PrEP.
Being in a relationship with just one person can be confusing for some, and so the thought of multiple partners can leave people scratching their heads. Experts have put together some of the terms that can help you understand.
School libraries are subject to the First Amendment, according to a Florida judge who recently ruled queer book bans.
The infamous Fort Lauderdale bar has a new title holder. After 31 years of being open, the newest Mr. Ramrod is announced.
Right-wing gamers are pushing against woke in video games, and one of their favorite series has seemingly turned against them.
Welcome to Queer News Tonight, and happy Indigenous Peoples Day. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ+ daily news television show, broadcasting live and available on demand on your favorite streaming channels.
Analytics company VidIQ has certified the Queer News Tonight YouTube channel as the world's most popular LGBTQ streaming news show. In 2025, our queer stories have reached 11 million streaming views.
Queer News Tonight has been the most watched LGBTQ news show and lifestyle show in the world this year.
We are proud that Queer News Tonight has more YouTube subscribers than any other LGBTQ+ brand in Florida.
We thank you for watching and supporting our voice in the LGBTQ community. There is no other news program in the LGBTQ world like Queer News Tonight.
It is Monday, October 13th. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we will tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
You're watching Queer News Tonight, the world's first daily LGBTQ evening news show.
Welcome to the world's most important LGBTQ+ evening news show.
Hotspots Happening Now is one of the largest LGBTQ nonprofit media companies in America, in the same model as PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBTQ community.
We support the 11 pillars of our LGBTQ community and want to inform and educate the key issues on lesbian, trans, Latino, Black, healthcare, seniors, students, faith, and social justice, business, and queer culture.
Our magazine is celebrating 40 years of the LGBTQ+ experience. Queer News Tonight is celebrating our 5th anniversary with more than 11,000 LGBTQ+ streaming stories.
We present South Florida's major LGBTQ events, including Pride Fort Lauderdale, Stonewall Pride, and Pride Fete. Our nonprofit 501c3 magazine, events, television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ and broader community.
In 2025, more than 100 community leaders will host this show to support the LGBTQ+ community. Let's meet today's anchors at Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome back to the table one of my favorite people on the planet. He's anchor Vaughn Biggs. He's a community engagement and outreach coordinator at Holy Cross Health, a vice chair of the Ryan White Part A Planning Council, and a board member of Trans Ed and Harmony Waves, 2 organizations dear to my heart. Welcome to the show, Vaughn. Always happy to see you, puppy.
It's always good to see you. And did you not look fabulous the other night?
Oh, at the Task Force Gala?
We all wore the same color.
At BU Ball,
yes.
You look fabulous.
Yeah,
How long did it take to put all that together?
5 minutes.
Lucky gay boy, I swear. Let's welcome back to the table Reverend Robert Hadley. Reverend Hadley is a deacon at Holy Angels National Catholic Church in Wilton Manors, an incredible establishment, and a certified ambassador with the Faith and HIV program. Secularly, Reverend Hadley works as a health educator with Broward House and with our own Hotspots Happening Out team as an event specialist. So Reverend Robert, Holy Angels National Catholic Church is hosting World AIDS Day Unite. Tell us what's happening out.
Well, on November 29th at 7:30 p.m. at Holy Angels Church, you can join us for a beautiful interfaith prayer story song in honor to World AIDS Day. We'll gather together to hear people's stories of how faith has gotten them through adversity. We'll gather to sing, gather to remember, and we'll gather to share hope. Everyone is welcome, and you are welcome. To get more information, email me, Reverend Hadley at protonmail.com. I'm excited about this. This is our 3rd year doing this. Our host, Kitty Meow, has been with us at the beginning. Our speakers have varied from the recovery group, and this year Mike Smith will be our lead musician. It'd be an incredible experience.
That's fantastic. There is no reason for anyone to not go to a World AIDS Day event with, events like this happening that are so inspirational and wonderful. So it's going to be on December 1st at 7:30 p.m. at the church?
No, in November 29th.
It's
a Saturday at the church. We were going to do that Sunday, but there's a concert. We're not going to interfere with other events. December 1st is World AIDS Day. That's where Broward House will be holding its annual candlelit vigil on the Esplanade Park instead of in Wilton Manors this year.
Oh, okay. Good to know. See there, we just told you about 3 different events that you can go to. There is no reason to not go to something that supports World AIDS Day. I mean, I know that you're going to something. I know that you're going to something. I know that Edward's going to at least 3 different things. All right. So, Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you all at World AIDS Day Unite on November 29th. Let's welcome anchor Edward Otto Zielke. Edward with the good hair. Yeah.
You are today?
Yes,
I love it.
it is looking perfect. An accomplished brand influencer and marketing leader with a dynamic background in financial services and travel marketing. Edward currently serves as the director of marketing and sponsorship for the world famous Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida.
Yeah.
He also serves on the Gala Chorus's communications committee. Edward, the Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida has announced season 16. Oh my God, this is more incredible than when Project Runway brought back you to tell us what's happening out.
Oh, wow. The Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida is proud to unveil its season 16 main stage concert series, aptly themed Invincible, a season of strength, sizzle, and song, spanning 3 spectacular productions from December 2025 through June 2026. This lineup blends festive fun, pop nostalgia, and a powerful remembrance into an artistic journey that highlights the chorus's community impact and partnerships. With a roster of over 180 singers making GMCSF the largest gay men's chorus in the Southeast, the organization continues to inspire tens of thousands of audience members each year through music that unites and uplifts. The season kicks off with Holiday Sleigh Ride on December 9th. You can find out more on our website at gmcsf.org. And that's Holiday Sleigh spelled S-L-A-Y, because we're going to really gay and camp it up over at the Hard Rock. You might even see a couple of drag queens on stage. You never know.
You never know.
It's just going to be fantastic. Tickets are available for that. If you're not into that whole big, rock and roll type of thing, we have our intimate Sunshine Cathedral performance a few days later. It's called Carols by Candlelight. It's kind of a little bit more of a traditional, setting for those people that like that. In the spring, we have an Abba concert. Yeah. So it's going to be the best of ABBA. Yes, we're going to do all the ABBA hits. It's going to be fantastic. Yeah, everyone's going to be coming with their bell-bottoms, disco. And then the best thing is the Pride concert. It's entitled Invincible. Next year in June, it marks the 10th anniversary of the Pulse nightclub shooting, as we all know. And so Gabe reached out to one of his fellow writers, and they're composing a piece that's going to be written especially to commemorate that. And then we're going to be partnering with other nonprofits that are going to also be a part of this organization too. You'll hear there'll be groups from the Orlando Gay Chorus with us. There'll be the Tampa Bay. We'll have Master Chorale. We'll have the Symphony of the Americas. It's just going to be fantastic, and we're hoping to get it to Orlando that weekend as well. So it's going to be a big. It's going to be at Broward Center too. So all that information is on our website.
I love this. Mm-hmm. Wow, you gave us a lot to process, but also a lot of exciting stuff to look forward to. First of all, I love that the theme of your season 16 is Invincible, and I feel that everybody who is in our community has to feel that, right? Has to feel that, because we've gone through so much, right? The chorus has gone through so much. Our community has gone through so much, but we are freaking invincible. To keep on throwing whatever you have to throw at us, we're still going to shine as bright as we do.
It's tapping into your superpowers. Yes. It really is just getting down to your inner strength and just really, shining. And just come and be a part of this. It's just going to be a very moving experience I just think and it's going to be on June 19th, and we are going to be celebrating Juneteenth in the concert as well. So there'll be some pieces around that as well. As the second act, there'll be a little bit more uplifting and reflection and, celebrating the brown and the black communities along with that. So it's just going to be marvelous.
Oh my God, exciting. And you're kicking off the holidays now in December at the incredible Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino that has been such and like just has saved us, you know, in our community. Like I don't know an organization that the Seminole Hard Rock hasn't tried to help in some way, shape, or form. Even if it's just, oh, let me promote your event or let me give you a guitar to raffle off. I mean, Eric Eldridge and those folks over there, you know, when they said we want to come and be part of the community, we want to show up, I was like, yeah, okay. But they are everywhere.
And they're committed, and you see them. We're in our 9th year of partnership with them, and they are so committed, and it's so wonderful to have them. They're doing the FlockFest fashion event this week. You know, like you said, there's so many organizations they touch.
They're also doing the November 1st Chic Burlesque.
That's right.
So
we have both.
Before we head into season 16,
about
let's go 15 with a bang. I'm really looking forward to the Chic Burlesque and then just continuing the life cycle of the Gay Men's Chorus.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, we have to mention that. It's called the Chic and Unique Ball.
Yes.
Right?
And it's burlesque.
And it's going to be November 1st.
Yes, and it's going to be at Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. It's our annual fundraiser that comes up once a year. It's a burlesque theme. Right now we have over 300 people already registered with tickets. It's really exciting, and people are already getting their tables. And you're going to see FayWhat on the red carpet interviewing all of our fabulous chorus leaders and everybody in the community that's coming out to support us. So, you know, just make sure you go to the chicanduniqueball.com. That's our website to look at for tickets information. So.
I love that. Well, Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you all at the many fantastic GMCSF performances in season 16 and coming to you real soon also. Let's welcome back to the table mi hermanito, anchor Jason Núñez. Jason Núñez is a trailblazing leader, passionate entrepreneur, and fierce advocate for equality. He's the president and CEO of the Greater Fort Lauderdale LGBT Chamber of Commerce, and as a third-generation minority Air Force veteran, he has served at the Pentagon, the White House, the State Department, and the Department of Labor. Jason, welcome to Queer News Tonight.
Thanks, Faye. Excited to be here. Yeah.
How is it that we were like at 14 events over the weekend and you look refreshed, rejuvenated, your skin looks amazing? Like, what the hell?
It's the lighting. So we kicked off Equality Florida, West Palm Beach, brunch. We kicked off National Task Force last week. This week we have the FlockFest fashion show. We have Queers Punk, Prism FL Gala on Saturday.
Yes.
I'm exhausted already.
Well, I'm happy to have you back at the table, baby.
Thank you so much.
And of course, let's welcome tonight's lead anchor, FayWhat. She is my favorite lesbian of all time, but besides that, she's also a legendary events host, television and radio personality, and the host of Hotspots happening at the FayWhat show. FayWhat FlockFest is hosting their annual fashion show. I know you're excited about this on Thursday. Tell us what's happening now.
Oh my God, so much is happening, but this event is just one for the books. Make sure you have it on your calendar. It's this Thursday, October 16th at 6:30 p.m. All right. The glamour, the music, and poolside magic are taking over the one and only Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, Hollywood's Dare Day Club pool for the FlockFest fashion show. All right. The event will feature a runway showcase from 9 men and women's designers. Utica, Ethan Munt, you know him, right? From season 21 of Project Runway. He's going to be dressing me. I could cry. Okay. But aside from that, you're also going to see his whole collection, which is incredible. All right. Juan de la Cruz has his line as well. Tops and bottoms, the boys over there at the men's boutique, they have their line also being spotlighted. Wow Wear and swimwear by Pride Factory. Trunks by Patrick T. Cooper, Devious Saints, T-Boss Men's Formal Wear, and Sky Bina Katerina. The event will be hosted by the Grecian goddess herself. God, she's gorgeous. Miss Athena Dion. She's beautiful, right? I know I need glasses, but she is just like that gorgeous, where I'm like, wow, you're so pretty. There will also be a red carpet featuring lucky stars from RuPaul's Drag Race, live vocal performances by Yoli Mayor from America's Got Talent, Jonathan Casañas, Lenora J, Alexander Zenos, and Julia Lemigova from The Real Housewives of Miami. If you have not caught up, oh my God, the reunion number 3. Holy crap. Girl, Julia. You and Adriana, I can't wait to ask you about that on Thursday. All right, so don't miss the drag performances by Lucky Stars, by Daisy Dead Petals, by my friend and our friend TP Lords. Find out more at flockfestevents.org. Get your tickets. Is anybody as excited as I am? Because I'm freaking excited.
I couldn't tell.
Couldn't tell. No.
That's quite a lineup.
Right?
There's so much talent that's
so
coming
much.
there. It's so wonderful to see Seminole once again up there supporting
Yes.
another local LGBTQ plus nonprofit. It's so wonderful. But yeah, what a great lineup. What a great way to get out and support this wonderful organization.
You know, and I got to give a big shout out to Jonathan Hawkins, to also Stephen Crawford and Kevin Clevenger over at FlockFest. Those boys have not slept since they put this together, right? And I remember Kevin just saying something like, have you been watching Project Runway? I'm like, hello, Utica, right? And he was like, I'm working on something. I don't know if it'll happen, but if it does, oh my God, I'm going to be so excited to bring this to our community. And I'm like, gay boy, please. That's never going to happen. You're never going to get Utica. Come on. They got
And
Utica.
he did. That's
I mean,
so
again,
wonderful.
like, right? Perseverance. Like, we can do anything because we're invincible in
Yeah,
our community. We just got to
exactly.
believe so, right?
Yeah, and then the lineup, I mean, it's a pure representation of our community. I love it. Music, dance, art, culture, it's just all in one night. Talking about sleeping, no, probably won't sleep this week either.
No, and that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
We don't need to sleep.
We'll get there eventually.
We'll sleep.
Well, Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at the FlockFest Fashion Show on October 16th.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm FayWhat, and let's queer up health. Celebrities flood famous WeHo queer club, the Abbey, for National PrEP Day. Dua Lipa had us all levitating at the start of the month as she helped celebrate the inaugural National PrEP Day event thrown by telemedicine company Mr. as part of a campaign to get 10,000 people to sign up for PrEP over a 10-day period. As she performed, she was joined on stage by RuPaul's Drag Race legends Simone, Aquaria, Shea Coulee, Trinity the Tuck, and Plastique Tiara. After her performance, Lipa told Rolling Stone, quote, I think there's a lot of stigma around HIV and sexually transmitted infections. And I think if we can destigmatize what it means to get the right health care for HIV, I want to believe that there is hope that it can be completely eradicated. I think sex should be fun and it should be safe. With intimacy, there's safety, there's a connection. It is so important to take care of ourselves. I think that in itself is very sexy, end quote. The event was hosted by Bob the Drag Queen and featured DJ sets by Diplo and Joey with the Mustache. Also in attendance were celebrities including Cardi B, Nene Leakes, Matt Boomer, Cooper Koch, Colton Haynes, Kim Petras, Omar Apollo, Tom Daly, Colton Underwood, David Furnish, Jake Wesley Rogers, Alyssa Edwards, Bianca Del Rio, and Monet Exchange. Everybody that was gay in LA was at this event, all right? And this is how you make prevention sexy, okay? Dua Lipa, drag royalty, and half of Hollywood showing up for National PrEP Day. I love to see this, okay? We need to normalize, sexual health, not whisper about it. We're always like, what's your status? Or do you need, some kind of recommendation for a doctor, right? We've got to live in a culture where we're open and having these talks so more people are not walking around not knowing,
Right.
what they have. I mean, it's not a death sentence anymore, right? That's the beauty of it all, you know? Someone asked me the other day about why our acronym is LGBT. Right? Instead of GL, how it used to be, right? And the story supposedly is that during the AIDS crisis, when most men had nobody by their side, the lesbians took it upon themselves. There was a lesbian group, and I apologize for not remembering my history and not remembering their name, but they took it upon themselves to be on the bedside of these gay men, to make sure that their papers were filled out, that they needed their, their end of life things taken care of. And so they decided to change the acronym to LG. And I think that people forget that we're an acronym together, unified, right? People don't think that women, take PrEP. I mean, these are things in education that everybody should know. And I'm looking at you because this is your playing field. You know what I mean? Like, this is what you talk about with your eyes closed.
I do. And the amazing thing is I've been doing a lot of talks recently at some of the local colleges. So I'm speaking to the professors, have me coming into their classroom and giving HIV and STI discussions with them.
Wow.
And they're like deer in headlights. And the title of the presentation that I give them is What You Didn't Learn in High School.
Oh, I love that
And
title.
it starts with just trying to have a real conversations about sex. Like, let's talk about sex, and have those the questions I get, oh my gosh. I mean, they have no idea. They have no idea. It's like, you can get it from a toilet seat, or can you get it still from kissing? And
wow.
different, I mean, Yeah, it's unbelievable. And this just goes to show why it's so important. We need to continue that message out there.
Yeah. And celebrities and folks like this with a platform this big, it makes you look and it makes you pay attention, right? You maybe never heard of prep, but all of a sudden you're like, wait, Bob the drag queen is there? I should learn what's going on. I know it sounds silly, but
it's true, because, you know, when I'm watching Drag Race, you know, the new ones that come out, you know, they're always doing the Mr. commercials there too. And they're always having a spokesperson that is probably from the franchise itself too. So the visibility is great, you know, in terms of that. And I'm so happy to see that, you know, they're using people within our community, and it's one community, because you were really talking about it there, you know, LGBTQIA, it's one community. We're not segmented into like lesbians and then we're the gays, you know what I mean? We have to think of ourselves as one community.
Much like Vaughn, my spirit is filled by being a minister. My paycheck comes from Broward House. I'm an HIV educator. Just this afternoon, I was talking to people in recovery treatment center about HIV and STIs and how to protect yourself. And they're like deer in the headlights, like you said. When I mentioned, I always start out with who's had sex in the past 15 years, you're at risk, no matter who you are. That changes how they think about it. My focus is into the non-LGBT community too. They need to be on PrEP as well.
Yeah.
And so that's my focus. I love this. It gets to the queer community, which is nice. This gets to the larger community as well. We need to expand that as well.
100%. 100%. Jason?
Education is key. I mean, education is going to remove that stigma. And even, you know, you walk around Wilton, you walk around town, and you see the different vans HIV testing with the sign outside. And you wonder, like, how many people are going in there looking behind them and like, oh, who's going to know that I'm going to get tested? Or even going in, not knowing what the results are and not knowing that those providers are there to walk you through it. Like you're not alone. We are an entire community. So I think the education campaign and removing the stigma is huge for our community. And thank you, Mister. Thank you, Tristan. And all of the celebrity A-list over there in LA. Feel free to come to Wilton whenever.
And all the hot guys who work for Mister. I had to mention that. I'm sorry.
Okay.
All you guys in your little blue hats.
Yes.
Whatever you're talking about, I'm going to go find out. And I don't even like boys. So, I mean, imagine that.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Von Biggs, and let's queer up gay culture. Polyamory terms defined by experts. As more people embrace ethical non-monogamy, understanding the terms and trends that define these relationships is essential for empathy, education, and equity. Cosmopolitan UK recently published a glossary of polyamory terms that helps readers navigate the diverse and intentional world of consensual non-monogamy. These terms are not just vocabulary, they are tools for communication, identity, and emotional clarity. Take metamor, for example. This refers to your partner's partner, someone you may or may not have a relationship with. Then there is compersion, a term that describes the joy one feels when their partner experiences pleasure with someone else. It is the opposite of jealousy and the cornerstone of many polyamorous relationships. Other terms include polycule, which maps the network of interconnected relationships, and solo polyamory, where individuals maintain autonomy while engaging in multiple romantic connections. These terms reflect a shift towards intentional, transparent, and emotional intelligent relationship structures. The article reminds us that language helps us make sense of our relationships. It gives us the tools to express boundaries, desires, and identities. And in the world where love does not always follow the traditional path, these tools are more important than ever. Recent data shows that 4% of Americans currently identify as polyamorous. Between 20 and 25% say they are open to have and experimented with non-monogamy. Over 2/3 of polyamorous people report high relationship satisfaction. Many cite emotional variety, personal growth, and deeper communication as key benefits. Perhaps the most telling sign change comes from Generation Z. A recent Tinder report found that over 40% of Gen Z users are open to non-monogamous relationships. This generation is redefining intimacy, prioritizing emotional honesty, and rejecting rigid relationship norms. The openness signals a cultural shift towards more inclusive and flexible models of love. Despite the emotional richness of polyamory, challenges remain. Nearly 50% of polyamorous individuals report experiencing stigma or discrimination. But the tide is turning. A younger generation embrace new relationship structures. Polyamory is emerging not just as a lifestyle, but as a movement rooted in authenticity, consent, and connection. Understanding polyamory is not just about knowing the lingo, it is about honoring the humanity behind it. From Cosmopolitan UK's glossary to the latest data on relationship trends, the message is clear. Love is expansive, language matters, and the future of relationships is being shaped by those brave enough to live them authentically. So someone for me who came from, I started, my very first relationship was a polyamory relationship, and it was a very unique dynamic. I am one of these, I'm a studier, I love to study and read, and my favorite book, and I'll say it on here, is still, to this day, The Ethical Slut. It is the best book ever written. If you ever want to be in a relationship, anybody out there in a relationship should get that book.
I've heard
because
of it.
Gets you to your core. It will read you to, like it's reading you. And it really explains jealousy and communication and really talks about expanding those boundaries. And yeah, it talks about the leather community. It talks about the kink community, but it's a fascinating book. And when I'm looking through the terms, compersion was probably my number one go-to because in my partnerships that I had, I really got joy in hearing from them about their experiences. I'm not one that wanted to sit back and watch, but I enjoyed hearing how they were satisfied from having an experience with someone.
Got it.
Knowing that at the end of the day, they were back home in my bed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And listen, love is not a one shoe fits all, right? It's not like one way to do things, right? Maybe you're in a monogamous relationship and this makes no sense to you and you're like, oh, I'm too jealous. I can't even, right? But then there's others where this makes more sense to them, right? And I got to read Ethical Slut because somebody told me that it really gets down to the nitty gritty as to why you're so jealous of certain things, right? And if you're able to break through that, then maybe you and your partner will be happier. I mean, I know for me, if my wife smothered me, she would not be my wife, right? Because I can't deal with that personally, but I'm also very jealous. So having another person in a relationship, they would have to like me more. And obviously that's not how things go. You know what I mean? It's not cut and dry that way, So, I love, what was the polyculo? What was it? Polyculo?
Polycure.
Sure.
Why you got
Because you added your little Latin twang to it. Polyculo, lot of butt. Polyculo. Multiple butt.
Okay, but that would mean like the network of people that you're in that are also on the same page.
Right. Exactly. Because that means that, because you could have those multiple relationships, but they could be in with other poly relationships as well, because it's not necessarily they all live together. In some cases they do, but no, it's a network of consent.
Okay.
And that's the way I like to look at it, is consent.
I'm super interested. I mean, not because I'm interested for me, but I love that we are able to give a space to whatever you like in our community. You know what I mean? Like, so, I mean, that's why I think that more people are probably interested in having a relationship like this, but they're afraid to ask the questions and have the conversation with their better half, you know? And you might get the answers that you didn't expect. You never know, right?
It's about being open and honest with your partner and in the relationship, and really authentically asking yourself, like, what really makes you happy? What is it about this? I have to look at this phrase, consensual non-monogamy. I didn't realize that it was such a very spectrum of different terms, So there's many different ways to define it. I mean, I was so limited with it's either an open or a closed relationship. And that's where I kind of thought it would be, but there's more to it than that, as we all know. So it's just where you're comfortable at. I would think.
I'm glad Ron brought up the book Ethical Slut. If you didn't bring it, I will bring it up. I've actually quoted it in one of my homilies before. It is very educational. What we do. It's about consent. As you mentioned, communication. As a minister, my whole goal is: are you happy with who you are? Does it hurt anybody else? If it doesn't hurt anybody else, it's ethical. Yeah. So. As a health educator, communication is key.
Yeah.
Talk to your people.
And terms are key, to know the verbiage, right? To know what the terms are. You don't have to be in the community to respect the community, right? I mean.
Yeah, my husband read The Ethical Slut, and when he came out, he was like, this is so good. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? He was like, this is such a good book. And then I read it, I was like, The Ethical Slut, I was like, I
guess out of my head type of a thing, right?
Yeah, yes. I was like, okay, an ethical slut, got it, check. But also on the polyamory and the terms, I mean, education is key for our community. And just this weekend, one of my throuple friends got married. So shout out to Shane, Nate, and Chad in Charlotte, North Carolina. They got married, and it was such a beautiful, I wasn't physically there, but I saw it through their social media, and it was such a beautiful ceremony of acceptance and true love. And this gives me a little bit more understanding of what that relationship looks like. But congrats, Shane, Nate, Chad, and Jacob. I guess I'll read the book when I get home.
Wow.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ plus story for today. I'm Reverend Robert Hadley, and let's queer up South Florida. A Florida judge rules the First Amendment does not protect queer books in schools. The authors of And Tango Makes Three, a children's book about gay penguins, who raise a chick together, have lost their lawsuit against Florida's Escanaba and Lake counties. The school boards of those counties removed the book from the school library, citing inappropriate content. The lawsuit claimed the schools violated First Amendment by banning the book. However, U.S. District Judge Alan Windsor said the school libraries don't apply as forums, and therefore curation of books doesn't impinge on First Amendment rights in schools. In the ruling, October 1st, Windsor wrote, "Even if a book curation is not in the government speech, the board still wins in the merits. When the government decides which books to choose, it is not creating a forum for others to speak. It is not otherwise implicating plaintiffs' First Amendment rights. The author's plaintiffs, however, no First Amendment right to have speak library, and the student plaintiff has no First Amendment right to receive author plaintiffs. Message to the library." The director of American Library Association Office of Intellectual Freedom, Deborah Caldwell Stone, argues that libraries in general are considered public forums for receiving information. She agrees school libraries are designated to serve a limited community and are open to the public, but stated it is correct to say the school library is a kind of non-public forum, but doesn't mean it is the intended audience or the user of the library loses First Amendment rights, or elected officials or administrators are no longer obligated to act in conformity with the First Amendment. If there's a viewpoint of discrimination going on there, that's the one thing that's always forbidden in any government under the First Amendment. In defense of this other book bannings, the Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has cited legal doctrine of the government speech, or the governor's right to present its own viewpoints without the need to provide equal time, platform, or opposing views. First Amendment is under attack again. In a way, libraries are not the public forum. The writer can write what they want. Should it be in a public library? Again, I think that's the school board can decide that. But it is, the book can be out. Can it be in a school library? It's weird that it shouldn't be, but this judge, I don't think the judge is wrong in this. It's a shame that it happens, and particularly in Florida, where we're all under attack. That's what I'm not happy about. But it's a fun book. Do you ever read it? It's a funny book.
Yeah. Vaughn?
You know, no, I don't think they should have any right to do it, because this, you know, when I see the title, queer books, I'm like going, what defines a queer book? And we're talking about two dads raising, basically two dads. I'm sorry. What's wrong with that? What is wrong with that in this culture today? There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, you know, when you think about the fact that they banned Maya Angelou, when you think about the fact that they've banned other books, Anne Frank, right? Also, like, you know, books that have been pivotal that to teach us about a history that we weren't a part of, right? And trying to erase it right then and there. You know, this one infuriates me because banning a children's book about penguins who love each other and foster a chick. All right. This isn't about protecting kids. It's about erasing queerness everywhere and our visibility. You know what I mean? Nowhere in the book is it sexualized in any way. Folks sexualize everything we do. Everything, even a kid's book. You know, so when the courts say that books like this, you know, don't deserve a place in schools, they're saying that our stories don't deserve a space in schools either. And that's not law. That's censorship.
Censorship. It's also like capping off somebody's creativity. Like two penguins and a chick. Like, that's cool. Like, that's creativity in writing. Like, why is it such a big deal? No, you're not going to go talk to two penguins at the zoo. And if you do, then check yourself somewhere.
No, but good point, right? It's loosely based on a true story of two penguins who loved each other. You know what I mean?
Adopted, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's something that's pretty much normal, I would think, at this day and age. If a kid was going to school, I mean, a lot of kids these days have same parent relationships that they have. So it's not something that's, you know, unheard of. We have it here in Florida. This is just the government just basically, you know, dictating what should be taught in schools. That's really more or less. They don't want an expanded version of what our world is. They don't want to hear the different choices. They want it to be black and white. And that's really what it's about.
Well, they want it to be white, more white.
More
exactly.
It's interesting because the penguins are black and white, so you would think they would like this story.
Well, I had to say this because we actually had kind of this conversation going to the gala the other night when we were driving down to Miami, and it was like we were talking about the animal kingdom, and you think about it, it's like 80% of the animal kingdom is homosexual.
Fluid, yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's like horses, mammals, all of them. So it's like hello, this is truth. This is truth. I mean, this is our animal kingdom that they're talking about that. What's wrong with that? Nothing.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ plus story for today. I'm Otto Zielke, and let's queer up South Florida and Florida. As queer spaces continue to close, Ramrod celebrates 31 years with a new Mr. Ramrod. Since its opening in 1994, Ramrod has been an integral, if seemingly seedy part of South Florida. It has always been the kind of bar where no one cares who you are or what you're into, as long as you don't care about those things in others. It is also a long-running home for the South Florida leather community. Since 1995, the bar has hosted the Mr. Ramrod contest, where participants present themselves in front of a panel of judges in hopes that they will be given the bar's title. Most winners have gone on to compete into the International Mr. Leather, with 2 Mr. Ramrods winning the international title and 7 others ranking in the top 10. Sunday, October 12th, saw this year's competition. 4 contestants presented themselves to the panel of judges: Mac McKenzie, Pup Lucky, Asher, and Dr. Jesse. The event was hosted by a friend of the network, Elimination, who said this about the contest, quote, "We had a wonderful class of 4 humans willing to share of themselves in front of the South Florida community. Each brought something special to the stage, and we are forever thankful of their vulnerability, authenticity, and presence," end quote. The contestants included people from various parts of the community, from a doctor to a non-binary leather pup and a local singer. Ramrod's general manager, Chad Bush, said, quote, "The family of Ramrod is very happy to announce that Dr. Jesse Nicholson is our new 2026 Mr. Ramrod. We had an amazing array of contestants covering many aspects of our diverse LGBTQ plus community. Although they were all worthy of taking the title, we are so happy to have Dr. Jesse representing Ramrod this year," end quote. As queer spaces across the country continue to close, it is important to maintain spaces where most marginalized members of our community, including the transgender individuals, people of color, and even the leather community, are able to come together. Dr. Jesse, the new Mr. Ramrod, told Queer News Tonight, quote, "I am so honored and humbled to be chosen as Mr. Ramrod 2026. I appreciate the camaraderie and the support of all the contestants had for each other throughout the entire contest. Leather is about celebrating who we are, unapologetically and with pride. And I hope to welcome more people into the experience of the connection and belonging," end quote. Well, this sounds wonderful. It sounds like, this is something that is a little, I don't have much knowledge in terms of the leather community, so it's just not my area. But I'm happy to see that even another segment within our community is diversifying and opening up, to other people. I know trans people have entered into this bar with open arms. So it's so wonderful that they're representing a spectrum from our community, and that we're in there. And congratulations to the new Mr. Ramrod, Dr. Jesse. That sounds wonderful.
I wonder if he's really a doctor.
You never know. I have to go look him up now.
Wow, right. I love that. So Ramrod has been around for a while. I mean, I think you said 1994. That's a long time,
31
right?
years.
And, if that pool table could talk, I'll leave that at that for you folks who know, the fact that a lesbian woman can tell you that kind of tea just tells you about Ramrod, right? Everyone is welcomed at Ramrod. You can go there at 3 p.m. and have a real low-cost cocktail and talk to the bartender and have a great time. You could also go there after 1 a.m. for a pig dance on a different day and meet other people, right? A couple of years back when I first started at Queer News Tonight, I worked with a colleague, Elimination Onyx, who was the host of the event over the weekend. And I was curious about the leather community. It wasn't my scene either, right? But I was curious about it, right? And my first part was like, are there black and brown people in the leather community? And he was like, there are. I'm going to show you, I asked the questions, right? And I got the wonderful answers in return from David Hopkins and also Elimination. Black and browns are represented. They're represented in a big big way in the leather community. And, you know, it intersects with poly people. It intersects with so many other communities that you walk into Ramrod and you will see inclusivity from a trans person, right? Male or female, either one, right? You will see a bear on this side. You will see somebody with a harness over here. You'll see a lesbian over there. Like, it boggles my mind that all these people are in the same room at 4 o'clock in the afternoon having a great time. You know what I mean? And that is, I think that speaks to the longevity of Ramrod. To, if you mention to anybody out of state Ramrod, they've heard of Ramrod. You know what I mean? And that, you know, that speaks volumes when we have so many of our spaces that are closing down. You know what I mean? It's on the drive. It's still, you know, it's not an easy rent to have, you know, and they've got the recipe down pat to make sure our community's seen, that they still are able to pay rent, pay their, you know, whatever they got to pay, and keep everything affordable. It blows my mind.
And really they still support a lot of nonprofits too. I know they hold a lot of events there too. So they're also a really big staple in this community. And, you know, speaking of someone that, like, you know, when I was in my 20s and 30s, I was in New York, and like, you know, these scenes and stuff, I actually would go into a bar and stuff, and I thought, oh my God, this is just so not my scene. But, you know, they make it so welcoming here. It doesn't matter like how you feel or what your preconceived notions might be, but, you know, just try it out. You know, that's the best way to do it. Just conquer the fear and go on in.
Well, you know, someone who is part of the leather community, which I love, when I moved down here, that was the first bar that I went to and felt so welcome, because I was so used to the bars in the Midwest. And before I moved down to Indiana, they had closed our leather bar. So it was a matter of finding one here. And the Eagle hadn't opened here at that point, the one that we have. So they were just so welcoming, and the leather community is great because you're right, they welcome everybody. I mean, it's not just LGBTQ. I mean, a very large heterosexual community is part of the leather community as well. And the men that compete for International Mr. Leather, I mean, part of this is kind of like we think about going on to Florida pageant, right? And they go on to Continental and things like that. Mr. International is that for the leather community.
IML.
Right. IML is, I mean, I've been to many of them. I love it. 2 of my dear friends have been winners of IML, and they teach people that come into this community a lot about leadership and about being authentic and about, you know, holding yourself accountable. Because they don't want to have people in this community. It's about leadership, and they don't need people being not understanding.
They also instill in people to educate other people.
Right.
That right there speaks volumes.
Every
you know
level of contestant has to have a platform, and so many remote platforms, almost all education of some sort. So from homeless to HIV to relationships, so many different platforms. Actually, Ramrod is one of the places. Carvel and I will go anywhere in the city.
Did you say you'll go anywhere? Is that what you said?
Carvel and I go out a lot.
Oh, of course.
We'll go to Ramrod just as comfortable as we are over there at Hunter's. Probably more so than in Johnson's, because it's too expensive, but still.
And let's be real, all those boys are straight.
Exactly, that part.
But Matt will make sure that we're welcome there. We're rushed to welcome the Ramrod. And, you know, there were 2 people who have doctors are in International Mr. Leather over its history. 2 people who actually are medical doctors in IML history. There have been transgender people as International Mr. Leather and disabled people. Several brown people as well. International Mr. Leather, this represents that's why Ramrod contestants have been 2 title holders from there.
That's inclusivity. That right there. If you have a question as to what's inclusivity, that's it.
It's the best of the world.
I love that. Well, congratulations to Dr. Jesse, our new Mr. Ramrod.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Jason Núñez, and let's queer up entertainment. Right-wing gamers turn against one of their former favorite series. In the summer of 2020, during the heart of COVID lockdowns, 2 popular games made their debut on the Sony PlayStation just a month apart: The Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima. Right-wing gamers rallied against the sequel to The Last of Us for the change in protagonist from Joel to female Ellie. They also took issue with Abby's appearance, arguing that because she was feminine and attractive to them, that she shouldn't have been included in the game. They raised Ghost of Tsushima as their gold standard, a game where you play a samurai in feudal Japan seeking revenge. This month saw the release of the much-anticipated sequel, Ghost of Yotei. The new game is very similar to the original in gameplay, but with one change that has upset the conservative fans. The protagonist in Yotei is a female samurai named Atsu. She is a young woman seeking revenge against the 6 men who slaughtered her family. In the story, she represents a Japanese onryo, a vengeful female spirit said to be unstoppable in its quest for revenge of the living. Atsu is voiced by Erika Ishii, a Japanese-American non-binary actor who uses all pronouns and is an outspoken opponent to the current political leadership in the United States. Grums, a prominent Gamergate activist and former video game executive, wrote on X, quote, "We ignored the protagonist's change to a woman for no good reason. We ignored that they made her ugly. But then it turns out it was a woke-infested, assassination-loving, Antifa-supporting, lesbian-ending woke piece of slop after all," end quote. Ishii and her girlfriend, who goes by Alex D online, seems unbothered by the backlash. In a recent TikTok, she even taunts gamers by stating that the backside of Atsu, seen in Yote, is not nearly as good as the one that is actually on her girlfriend. So here we are, even in the gaming system, we are experiencing this conservative backlash. Just play the damn game. Why are you worried about who's the protagonist, who's the character, why it went from Joel to Ellie? But kudos to Alex D for having a better ass than Ellie.
That part.
Hey, as a fellow gamer, I'm sorry, I always pick the women players. I really do. They kick ass. They really do.
Kick ass. I'm thinking back Mortal Kombat. I
Exactly.
always take
Yep.
the girl ones, you know.
Soul Calibur.
So imagine being mad that a video game has a woman as the lead. Really, it's 2025. Representation isn't a threat, it's progress. If a strong, queer, inclusive storyline ruins your fun, maybe the problem isn't the game and it's you. Just play the game. Just
Be
play the
to be
game.
emasculated by a game. What a shock.
Oh my God. Well, game on, Atsu. Game on.
Right.
In LGBTQ 1-minute news, let's queer up entertainment. Gay heartthrob Jonathan Bailey might be showing us his Batcave. Jonathan Bailey, the openly gay star of Bridgerton, Wicked, and Jurassic World, is rumored to be considered to play millionaire playboy and vigilante Bruce Wayne, aka Batman, in the upcoming reboot of the series by former Marvel director James Gunn. The gay internet is buzzing with the thoughts of Bailey sharing the screen with the new Superman, David Corenswet. I would watch them have sex. Batman and Superman?
Yes.
Yep. Yes, please.
I'm actually looking forward to seeing him in Wicked for good, to be quite honest, you know, but to see him as a superhero, I'm there for it.
LGBTQ 1-minute news, let's queer up gay culture. Gay couple's blind date goes viral 42 years later. The Instagram account at MeetCutesNYC wanders the streets of New York finding queer couples to interview. A recent couple they found, Jeff and Daniel, has melted the hearts of the internet with their love story. They were set up with a blind date by friends in Dallas in 1983. And Daniel said that when he first saw Jeff, it was love at first sight. The video is currently at almost 500,000 likes on Instagram, with several viewers recognizing Daniel as a favorite high school teacher from their past. When asked how to make a relationship last, Daniel says, quote, "Be a good listener," end quote. And Jeff adds, quote, "Stick with it," end quote. You know, if many of our couples in this community would do that, that would be an amazing thing.
Right?
We'd look at 42 years later with
That's
them.
amazing.
Right.
Like when I initially read this, I thought that they were blind and that they found love. Okay, which I was great with also, right? And then I was like, wait a minute, I think they've met on a blind date. I am so wrong. Okay, you know, but like you said, be a good listener. I mean, that right there it is. The problem with me is that I'll be a good listener, but I'll be thinking about what I have to do next, right? And not listening to what's being said. Got to be better at that. 42 years, right?
Right.
In a story like this, good promise. If people think they can't have a relationship, 42 years on a blind date, that's impressive. I salute and honor and bless that.
And 42 years in gay years is 112.
I would love to see this story on like the Hallmark channel, since now they're doing some LGBTQ plus stories that I've
Right.
seen. So why not celebrate something longevity like this?
I
you
would
know?
love that, right? To see people of a certain age having their love story, because it's happening and it's true.
Absolutely, yes.
I love that.
LGBTQ 1-minute news, let's queer up gay hell. Trump uses the shutdown to end LGBTQ plus health programs. President Donald Trump has used the current government shutdown to terminate employees from departments he disagrees with, a move which could be illegal according to some experts. On Friday, He began massive layoffs in the Department of Health and Human Services, including the complete removal of the Office of Population Affairs. The office which oversees programs including screening and prevention for HIV and sexually transmitted diseases, as well as gender-affirming care. Queer News Tonight will continue to follow this story. I think it's important. My full-time job is in HIV education. I see cuts already from the budgets. Fortunately, with grants to continue we do. Gender-affirming care, that's anywhere from male pattern baldness, everything else. So this is just shocking, embarrassing. Another concern from 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
You know, I was just looking at some reports that came out from the CDC funding, and it talked about they're looking at all the funding across this whole spectrum, and it's showing like where they put cuts at and how it's affected, where they've moved to what organization it moved to. But the fascinating thing is they're holding, and this is Florida, they're holding strong on children immunizations. They're not moving
even with
any
RFK,
money.
really?
Right, they're not moving money for that. I was like, what are they going to do with that money? But yeah, we're seeing how this is gonna be something we'll be watching, I'm sure.
Well, and again, according to what you read, Robert, it said to terminate employees from departments he doesn't agree with. That's a lot of departments, right? I mean, like, what's he planning on just getting rid of everybody?
Yeah, my service in the military, my service in DC, we've seen some government shutdowns, but for valid reasons. Not this chaotic, I'm going to give a pink slip to whoever I don't like. I mean, it's a disgrace to our government, and and government workers, keep up the good fight, because that shit sucks.
Look, and every time you see a news report, the narcissism is real, because they're like, hey, Democrats, you can end this right now. I'm like, you guys run everything. How are you saying that it's our fault? Like, blown away by just the narcissism and just the head games, and like, it's exhausting, but that's what they want. They want us tired. They want us to stop fighting. They want Vaughn to not be checking records to see where they move money, because he will every day. He'll be looking, trust.
LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up entertainment. Bob the Drag Queen heads to Broadway in Moulin Rouge. During the Mr. National Prep Day event at the Abbey, Bob the Drag Queen revealed his next big thing. He's headed to Broadway. Starting January 22nd, 2026, Bob will be joining the cast of Moulin Rouge at the Al Hirschfeld Theater. During the announcement, Bob said, quote, "It's a big, big dream of mine. Me at 18 in Columbus, Georgia would have been gagging right now," end quote. I know exactly how he feels. You know, if I were to have been on Broadway, it would have been fabulous. But it's so great to see our drag community in the theater this way. You see Jinx Monsoon, you know, do on Broadway. So it's fantastic. Representation, it's the best thing in theater, just to get our community in there.
100%. And like when I was just in New York, like just, you know, Billy Porter, right? In something like he's representing us wherever he goes, right? You know, Jinx Monsoon, I saw her in Oh Mary, and oh my God, she was amazing. Like we are talented and fabulous in our community. There is no theater without us, right? So when we see our queens being put in that level, right? Because they deserve it and they have the talent, and then kick ass. It's like we're with them, you know?
We keep shattering those glass ceilings over and over and over again.
And if it comes to Broward Center, the Parker, I'll definitely be there.
Hell to the yeah.
And why do we need the Kennedy Center honors? That's all I want to know.
What honors?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up entertainment. Scissor Sisters' Jake Shears plays sub-bottom opposite Alexander Skarsgård in new film. The film, Pillion, made its debut at Cannes and will be released in general theaters at the end of this year. It's a romantic comedy drama starring Alexander Skarsgård as Ray, a dominant Leatherman who starts a BDSM relationship with Colin, played by Harry Melling. Scissor Sisters frontman Jake Shears appears as Kevin, a member of Ray's BDSM biker gang. In a recent interview, Shears said of his character, quote, "I play a sub-bottom who is in a long-term relationship. I'm sort of in the scene that the movie takes place in, and I've been around for a lot longer than Harry Melling's character. So there's a little bit of rivalry, a little bit of jealousy," end quote. So Alexander Skarsgård in anything, I mean, I'm watching it. But it's, this is such an amazing show. I'm just really excited to watch it. And anything, I was torn at Alexander Skarsgård. You had me there.
Well,
done. And then BDSM and our community and just really kind of Mr. Ramrod and like all the stories kind of mixed together to what our room is, what our culture is, and like what our environment is. And then to see like movies, and then I can imagine like our own Mr. Ramrod in this movie as a BDSM biker gang. So it's kind of like putting everything together and just watching our community come to life. So I'm really excited about this.
Please.
I was just going to say, it's just great that we can be in a forum like this and talk about things like sub-bottoms and things like that and just be free. And that's really what it's about. It's about being authentic, and it's about saying these words and not being, being comfortable with it. Our community is so great to be comfortable that way. I wish other communities would feel that way.
And this is something we talked about earlier. The BDSM community, which I've dabbled in as well, is about consensual. After we talked before, conversation, who you're with, who you're zooming with, who you're being with, who you're responsible for. So this is all related.
Well, I will say that I thought the Scissor Sisters were something else.
I thought it was a rock group, wasn't it?
I thought it was a group of girls scissoring. Yeah. So I now know it's not. But when I looked up Jake Shear, great representation. I love that he's the front man and he's playing this role. So I am intrigued. All right. Those are today's headlines from Queer News Tonight. And these anchors represent the best of our LGBTQ community.
If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Join the conversation on your favorite streaming platform.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ plus digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines.
We need your support. If our community is to grow and then thrive, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world.
This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
I'm your anchor, FayWhat! And on behalf of these LGBTQ plus the reporters, the anchors of Queer News Tonight, including Vaughn Biggs, Robert Hadley, Edward Otto Zielke, and Jason Núñez. We will see you daily at 8 p.m. to our LGBTQ plus world. We hope that you will join us by embracing love, generosity, bravery, by being transformative and being queer. Good night.
Good night.